Good afternoon,
Good afternoon.
Honorable Union Minister of State for Human Resource Development, Communication, Electronics, and Information Technology, Shri Sanjay Dhotreji, President, Executive Board, and members of AIMS, management education leaders, faculty members from various colleges across the country, and friends. Good afternoon and welcome to the AIMS webinar, Paradigm Shift in Education Ecosystem 2020. I am Dr. Ganesh Rao, Director of Midcon and Executive Board member of AIMS. AIMS is India's largest association of management schools. Founded more than 2 decades back, it has been involved in many development initiatives in the field of management education across the country. Education in India has been going through various challenges over the past 2 decades, such as skill gap, employability, and online education transition. However, over the past 2 months, COVID has emerged as a major challenge. It has accelerated the need for change in a new and a more suitable model of education. Some of the changes that COVID-19 would bring would be for a short term, while others would last long. Education institutes across the country are swiftly and innovatively moving ahead in this process of working and reworking a suitable model of education in the new normal. There is a popular consensus on the hybrid model of education. This is the new normal. We are working with student community. They are the future citizens. They are the national asset and future corporate citizens. We have to be very careful and take the most appropriate decision for our future nation builders. As we transit through the journey of change and adapting ourselves to the new normal, we can foresee numerous challenges ahead. These are the points of discussion in the webinar today. We are thankful to the Honorable Minister for his time to grace the webinar and the panel discussion with leading educationists of the country. Sir, we seek your advice and support in this hour of transition. The panel discussion would be preceded by address of 2 well-known authorities in management education, IIM Trichy Director Dr. Maitri and Dr. Wellinger Institute Group Director Dr. Salunke. Welcome once again. And now I would like to invite Dr. Somnath Patil, Honorary Secretary, D.Y. Patil University, to address us. Sir.
Good afternoon all, the dignitaries and fellow colleagues who are attending this webinar today. It is my proud privilege to have gotten a chance to introduce today's chief guest, Honorable Minister Shri Sanjay Ji Dhotre. It is a tightrope walk for me to give a brief introduction of such a vibrant personality, having an all-round presence and influence on various fields, including academics, agriculture, technology, spirituality, etc. Shri Sanjay Ji Dhotre is an engineer and a lawyer by training, a practicing agriculturist and industrialist. Sir has remained active in social and political life for the last 4 decades. He has been a public representative, making his mark at all the important positions held in the fields ranging from academics to agriculture to new age technology. He has keen interest to bring changes in the life of a common man, transforming agriculture in every possible way. Sir is currently in his 4th term in the Lok Sabha as Member of Parliament. During this long tenure, he had several posts and represented so many committees that the list could become endless. He has also been conferred with innumerable number of awards and on various occasions in respect and recognition of his great contribution towards the society and nation at large. Today, we are very fortunate to have Shri Sanjay Ji Dhotre for guiding us on very important current issues in the education sector during this webinar. So without taking for much of time, I would request Shri Sanjay Ji Dhotre sir to continue with the further proceedings of this today's seminar.
नमस्कार. उपस्थित सर्व पदाधिकारी, all faculty members, एका अतिशय आपण असामान्य अशा परिस्थितीतून आपण सर्वजण जात आहोत. कोणी कल्पनाही केली नसेल अशी परिस्थिती निर्माण झालेली आहे आणि प्रत्येकच क्षेत्रात आपल्या दैनंदिन व्यवहारापासून तर शिक्षण क्षेत्र असो, उद्योग असो किंवा आपल्या स्थानिक स्वराज्य संस्था आहेत, सरकार आहे, वैद्यकीय सेवा आहेत, या प्रत्येक क्षेत्रामध्ये अनेक समस्या याच्यामुळं निर्माण झाल्या. त्यावर काही तोडगे आपण काढले. जसं काही ठिकाणी वर्क फ्रॉम होम, परंतु प्रत्येक ठिकाणी हे शक्य नाही आणि याचा सगळ्यात मोठा परिणाम जर झाला असेल तर तो आपल्या शिक्षण क्षेत्रावर झाला. सध्या बऱ्याच ठिकाणी विशेषतः शाळा, कॉलेजेस, आपल्याला उन्हाळ्याची सुट्टी आहे, परंतु काही ठिकाणी अजून परीक्षा व्हायच्या बाकी आहेत. पुढचं आपलं सेशन जवळपास म्हणजे शाळा आता 15-20 दिवसानंतर सुरू होणार होत्या. काही ठिकाणी तर जे पर्वतीय क्षेत्र आहेत तिथल्या शाळा आता तशा सुरू होत असतात. तर अशा अनेक समस्यांमधून आपण जात आहोत आणि हे फक्त आपल्या करताच नाही तर संपूर्ण विश्वावरचं हे संकट आहे. आपण लॉकडाऊन वगैरे करून जी परिस्थिती संपूर्ण विश्वात आहे त्या मानानं आपल्या इथे म्हणजे याचा फैलाव कमी झाला. आपल्या इथे मॉर्टॅलिटी रेट सुद्धा कमी आहे, परंतु हा धोका अजूनही टळलेला नाही. जवळपास दररोज 5 ते 6% आपण याची जे पॉझिटिव्ह पेशंट आहेत त्याची संख्या वाढताना आपण पाहतो. मी आता याच्या खोलात जाणार नाही कारण की आपल्याला यातून मार्ग काढायचा व आपण सर्वजण गेल्या अनेक दशकापासून या क्षेत्रात काम करता आपला अनुभव खूप मोठा आहे आणि शेवटी सगळ्या क्षेत्रांमध्ये आपण पाहतो की मॅनेजमेंटचं जे महत्व आहे ते अनन्यसाधारण आहे आणि आपल्याला यातून बाहेर निघण्याकरता नवीन शिक्षण पद्धतीमध्ये विशेषतः ई एज्युकेशन, ऑनलाईन टीचिंग, ई गव्हर्नन्स हे आपण याची सुरुवात मोठ्या प्रमाणात केली होती, परंतु आता याच्याशिवाय पर्यायच राहिला नाही. तर अशा परिस्थितीत काम करत असताना आपला सर्वांचा अनुभव, युअर इनव्हॅल्युएबल एक्सपिरियन्स will definitely guide us, and in many ways I think this pandemic is also an opportunity, कारण की आपण अनेकांनी याचा अनुभव घेतला की अनेक संधी, एक मनुष्य स्वभाव असा असतो की तो बदलायला तयार होत नाही. जसं काही सुरू असतं ते बहुतेक लोक आपण प्रयत्न करतो परंतु लोक बदलत नाहीत. यामध्ये अनेक संधी सुद्धा आपल्याला दिसून आल्या. जसं हे जे आपलं डोअर स्टेप डिलिव्हरी होती किंवा ऑनलाईन मार्केटिंग होतं, त्याला एकदम त्याचा जो वेग होता तो झपाट्यानं वाढला. मी बरेच वर्षापासून कृषी क्षेत्रात काम करतो. आम्ही अनेकदा प्रयत्न केला. आपल्या पुण्यात वगैरे तर फार मोठ्या प्रमाणात ह्या गोष्टी सुरू सुद्धा आहेत, परंतु ह्या गोष्टी नुसतं सिम्बॉलिक किंवा एखादी सक्सेस स्टोरी येत होती. घरोघरी भाजीपाला पोहोचवायचा, फळं पोहोचवायचे, जीवनावश्यक वस्तू पोहोचवायच्या, पण ते काही एका ठराविक कुठे 2-4-5% किंवा कुठे एखादा दुसरा टक्का याच्यावर जात नव्हतं. परंतु ह्या परिस्थितीमुळं त्याला खूप मोठ्या प्रमाणात चालना मिळाली. आमचे जे अनेक शेतकरी आहेत, आपण नेहमी संकल्पना मांडत होतो की जिथे उत्पादन होते तिथून ग्राहकापर्यंत तो माल पोहोचला पाहिजे, परंतु ते शक्य नव्हतं. आपल्यालाही मार्केटमध्ये जायची सवय होती, पण आता बाजारात जाणं अशक्य झालेलं आहे. तर त्यामुळे अनेक ठिकाणी आम्ही पाहिलं की शेतकऱ्यांच्या शेतकरी घरोघर आता ग्राहकांच्या घरी घरपोच माल देत आहेत. त्यामुळं आपण जी व्यवस्था निर्माण करायचा प्रयत्न करत होतो ती व्यवस्था अनेक ठिकाणी निर्माण करायला एक अनुकूल असं वातावरण तयार झालेलं आहे. तर मला असं वाटतं की आपण सर्व ह्या व्यवस्था आणि आपली शिक्षण पद्धती आणि शेवटी कोणती गोष्ट करत असताना त्याचे काही फायदे असतात तसेच काही तोटे सुद्धा असतात. तर शेवटी आपण कोणती गोष्ट करत असताना नेहमी हे पाहतो की ऑप्टिमायझेशन कसं होईल. शेवटी प्रत्येक गोष्टीमध्ये काही अडचणी असतात, समस्या असतात, आणि आपण काही केल्याशिवाय त्या समस्या लक्षात येत नाही आणि केल्यानंतरच त्या समस्याही दूर होऊ शकतात. मी आपला सर्वांना धन्यवाद देतो की आपण एक अतिशय उत्कृष्ट असं आयोजन केलेलं आहे. कारण की आता दुसरा कोणता मार्गही राहिलेला नाही. मी तुमच्याकडे येऊ शकत नाही, तुम्ही माझ्याकडे येऊ शकत नाही. मला असं वाटतं की पुण्यात राहूनही तुम्ही एकमेकाला भेटू शकत नाही. तर एक आपल्या ह्या उपक्रमाला मी शुभेच्छा देतो आणि तुमचं सर्वांचं जे मार्गदर्शन आहे, शेवटी एक गोष्ट आता निश्चित झालेली आहे की प्रत्येक जण आपापल्या परीनं चांगलं काम करत असतो, परंतु कुठं आम्ही कमी पडतो तर आमचं जे कोऑर्डिनेशन आहे, कारण की जगात असा एकही व्यक्ती नाही की त्याच्याकडे सगळं काही त्याच्याजवळ उपलब्ध आहे आणि असा सुद्धा कोणी व्यक्ती नाही की तो एकदमच टाकाऊ आहे की त्याच्याकडे काहीच नाही. तर जे जे चांगलं असेल ते सगळं एकत्र करून आपण एक चांगलं मॉडेल बनवू आणि शेवटी काही चांगलं बनवलं तरी नेहमी सुधारणेला वाव असतात, त्यामध्ये नेहमी सुधारणा होतच राहतात. तर एक चांगली सुरुवात आपण केली, त्याबद्दल पुन्हा एकदा धन्यवाद देतो आणि आपण प्रत्येकाने आपले जे काही अनुभव आहेत ते अनुभव आपण शेअर करावे अशी आपल्याला विनंती करतो.
Ganesh, unmute yourself, please.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for your kind words of wisdom. It's my proud privilege to introduce our first keynote speaker, Dr. Uday Salunke. He has been the president of the Association of Indian Management Schools. He is the group director, Wellington Institute of Management Development and Research. He is a recipient of the prestigious Eisenhower Fellowship USA, which acknowledges the contribution of thought leaders across the globe, and the prestigious Ravi Mathai National Fellowship Award for AIMS for his exemplary contribution to corporate India and society at large. I would request Dr. Uday Salunke to kindly address us.
Namaskar. Today's topic is Paradigm Shift in Education Ecosystem 2020. Honorable Union Minister of State for HRD, Communication, Electronics and Information Technology, Mr. Sanjay Dhotreji. सरांचं प्रोफाईल बघितल्यानंतर मला असं वाटतं की बिझनेस स्कूल्सला सगळ्या आणि एम्सला सुद्धा सरच एक आपले मायबाप आहेत. कारण टेक्नॉलॉजी, इन्फॉर्मेशन, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स आणि सगळेच पोर्टफोलिओ HRD त्यांच्याकडे असल्यामुळे सर वी आर व्हेरी लकी टू हॅव यू हिअर. तसेच लाईक माझ्याबरोबर आता माझे फेलो जे पॅनलिस्ट आहेत, कीनोट स्पीकर, डॉक्टर बिमरे मैत्रेजी. He's a senior colleague from the fraternity and he's a leaders in terms of training point of view all the time. And he has nurtured many, I'll say, leaders in India and even overseas. Dr. Sujata Mangarajji, President AIMS, who's here, and organizers Dr. Apurva, Dr. Amol, and all other my kind of, I'll say, stars who are present here. You can't really name everyone right now here. Past presidents, executive board members of AIMS, deans and directors who are present here, student friends and all viewers. It's indeed a great moment to be with our minister as well. See, our topic is paradigm shift. And when we talk about paradigm shift, which means fundamental change in the basic concepts and the experimental practices of discipline. Now, what does that mean beyond that? How we think, deliver, assess, and engage with students, stakeholders, how we govern, how we operate our institutions. And the center stage has come for the digital platforms. And in this, the role of policymakers, regulators, leaders, and every governing board members and everyone is extremely, extremely important, because all of them as a part of the ecosystem can bring about that paradigm shift. And in this, I'll just pick up a few points which are very critical. The first and foremost point is about admissions of this year's. It may be MBA, MMS, may PGDMs. And while looking at India, as India is facing this pandemic-19, COVID-19 situation, likewise, you will find the world is going through. And in this, if we really take a stock of how US is facing problems in terms of MBA and what are they doing, so we will really find Ivy Leagues in US, including Kellogg's, Wharton, UC Berkeley, as well as others even in European side, like INSEAD, LBS. Many of them have taken kind of calls. US definitely taken a call to waive the GMAT for this year. And many have taken a different kinds of calls as well. One of the reason also, while we keeping in mind the admissions or recruitment of the students for this year, concern of parents, we did a survey with the business schools in Mumbai of about 1,000 plus students, and we got a sense almost 85% of the parents of the children who are from outstation, they are apprehensive about sending their child right now, and 65% of the students are apprehensive. It is applicable to Mumbai or Pune, mainly maybe I'll say red zone. Likewise, we need to keep in mind in terms of the criteria we normally apply. Would the same criteria for tests would be really there? Or maybe some of the other tests, national tests, which AIMS also conducts like ATMA, can be really given further chance so that at least students who are not yet got an opportunity, they can come on the board. And timelines as well, timelines which are there. I'm sure AICTE chairman is always being very positive, and he also looking into the context and kind of, then probably they will decide. And likewise, in terms of the affordability point of view, how probably banks, financial institutions can really support, or even private sponsorship, private companies, can they come into picture through some mechanism of CR or FICCI? So admission is one of the area. In detail, my other co-panelists will really elaborate on that. Accreditation, in fact, accreditation decides the quality of the institutions, and in which definitely today institutions for coming maybe looks like 12 to 18 months or 24 months would be really struggling for survival, barring few exceptions. That exceptions would be always there. So in that particular point in time, and the entire new era which is happening, new paradigm shift which they need to achieve, in that accreditation maybe for NBA, NAC, is it possible to kind of put it on status quo for some time? It may be 2 years, 3 years, that can be discussed even with the AIMS as the advocacy policy body. The third important is the teaching point of view. Now, teaching fraternity, teachers to really be a good teacher in online point of view. The training has no substitute. But teachers plus even online facilitators, maybe like staff point of view also need to come on board, and they need to really ensure that can the engagement with the students be with the personal touch. Otherwise, that connect not being there, I'm sure we will lose the charm of it. And at the same time, student to student connect as well. How we can make that happen? The content is a king in this particular mechanism. Students should not feel as if like I've been delivered or I've been given the inferior opportunity. No. In fact, the online opportunity with the curated content has to be of the higher order than even the normal opportunities. The fourth very important point is infrastructure. And I'm only referring to digital infrastructure. In this, quality of internet, quality of bandwidth, which is very important. And even sometimes major cities also face this kind of area. In this, which platform students can use, faculty can use, which tools they can use, can it be economical? They're all very important area. And I must mention here, MHRD, as well as AICTE, IIC have started many good initiatives like leadership series, innovation-driven kind of guest series, entrepreneurship lectures. It is continuously happening on a regular basis. Likewise, I must appeal to Honorable Minister, how probably the role of education institutions, role of teachers, role of students, staff can be brought into the picture for the national movement, and let everybody support for the nation building at the juncture and in a very structured manner. With this, I thank the AIMS Pune chapter and the Honorable Minister and the other guests. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Uday Saunke, for your inspiring words and setting the stage for today's webinar. Now it's my honor to invite our next speaker, Dr. Bhimaraya Mhetri, Director, IIM Trichy. He is a distinguished academician, renowned teacher, researcher, and an astute administrator, an outstanding leader of management education. He has performed key leadership roles at many premier management institutes and at corporates in his remarkable career. He is also on the panel of experts for mentoring the institutes of eminence and also chairman All India Board of Management Studies, AICTE, New Delhi. Dr. Mhetri, kindly address us.
Thank you very much, Professor Rao. Honorable Minister of State for HRD, Communication, Electronics, Sri Sanjay Dhotre ji, Professor Uday Saunke ji, Group Director, WE School, the President, AIMS, Dr. Sujata ji, and all the distinguished, the President, past President, and executive members of the AIMS, and also the executive members of the Pune AIMS chapter, and all the faculty members and students, those who are participating in this very important webinar on Paradigm Shift in Education Ecosystem 2020. So I'll begin with the important quote from Nelson Mandela. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. He said long ago, it is applicable today and it is going to be applicable forever in future too. In today's unprecedented time, COVID-19 may bring in a paradigm shift in a way professional courses are taught. Here, in a short span, I would like to bring 5 paradigm shifts in education ecosystem 2020. First paradigm shift, learning beyond physical classroom. COVID-19 has challenged the traditional education system. Online education, which was in sideline as a distance and open learning, is coming to the mainstream. It may not replace the existing face-to-face learning, but definitely online will become a main component of the blended learning model in the new education system. Now learning is no longer limited between the 4 walls of the classroom. It is a virtual classroom. Students may learn anytime from anywhere. This is first paradigm shift. Number 2, second paradigm shift is increased role of advanced digital technology in learning environment, making learning more engaging using AR, VR and MR. You know that VR is a virtual reality, MR is a mixed reality. Apart from that, artificial intelligence, e-books, e-cases. Technology changing the dynamics of the education in India. Gamification of difficult concept is a fun element in learning in online system. Paradigm shift 3. Paradigm shift in business education, a competency-based approach. Now, there is a need for paradigm shift in a business education from knowledge transfer to business competency development. We all know that the knowledge, skill and attitude, these are the 3 important elements in business education. Earlier, knowledge used to come first. Now, it is replaced by the skill, attitude and knowledge. So this is how competency-based development is going to play an important role. So skill means learning to learn and problem-solving skills. Attitude, it is all about motivation and social intelligence. And knowledge, all of you know, it is about explicit knowledge and implicit knowledge. So this is how the focus is now going to be on competency-based, that is skill first and then attitude and knowledge comes later on. Paradigm shift 4. Paradigm shift 4 is paradigm shift in mindset of faculty and students. It is a change in mindset of faculty and students in creating a new mindset with greater emphasis on innovation, ethics, and corporate governance. These 3 are going to play a very significant role, and that is where the faculty members and students and all other stakeholders of the higher education, particularly business education, they have to change mindset with respect to these 3 important parameters. Paradigm shift 5, that is reform in business education. All of you know that vision of leading business schools are to prepare business leaders who can change the world. We are all dealing with millennials and Generation Z students. Therefore, there is a need for 3 R's. Number 1, R is responding to COVID-19. That is, we are shifting traditional face-to-face education to remote online education. That is responding to the crisis. Number 2, R, that is reimagining the workplace of tomorrow. Unless until we reimagine the workplace of tomorrow, we cannot identify what kind of jobs are going to come and what kinds of requirement in the corporate world, changing corporate world. or disruptive corporate world. And that is where reimagining the workplace of tomorrow is extremely important for all business leaders in the business school. The third and most important one is reform the business education based on the above 2 R's, that is responding and reimagining, to revise the curriculum, to focus on e-books, and to also focus on e-cases, and that to our own Indian cases. I'm sure implementation of respond, reimagine, and reform in the management education is need of an hour. Apart from that, the most important need to shift the conceptual leadership with the contextual leadership. The paradigm shift 5 is extremely important for leadership. We are till now focused the Western leadership, that is a conceptual leadership, the model-based, the concept-based leadership. Now the time has come, we have to focus on contextual leadership, because in this disruptive world, COVID kind of crisis and also digital technology constantly changing, accelerated changing is bringing the disruption, and every disruption is bringing the new context. And that is where contextual leadership is in the DNA or blood of Indians. We need to practice a contextual leadership so that we can totally reform the business education in India. And I am sure nobody can stop India to become a Vishwaguru once again if we implement these 5 paradigm shift in a systematic manner and we adopt a contextual leadership in place of Western conceptual leadership. So thank you very much. Thanks for giving me an opportunity. I thanks the AIMS and particularly Pune chapter, and thanks the Honorable Minister for the patient hearing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Maitri, for setting the momentum to today's webinar. I would now invite Dr. Mrs. Apurva Palkar, Chief Panelist for today's panel discussion. She is the past president of AIMS. At present, she is the Director, Center for Innovation, Incubation and Linkages at SPSPU. Dr. Palkar, kindly take the panel discussion.
Thank you, Ganesh, for giving this opportunity. Honored to have Honorable Minister Shri Sanjay Ji Dhotre today with us. And he's at the helm of the affairs from Maharashtra. And we're very hopeful and optimistic, sir, under your leadership, we will have our point of views being taken to the center, and a lot of problems and the issues that the educational institutions are facing today will have a very, very concrete solution in difficult times like that of the pandemic of COVID-19. Today, sir, we have, the way we have structured the whole panel discussion is that we have roughly around 9 people who will be speaking and giving their points of views on specific areas. सर आपण अशी व्यवस्था केली आहे की खूप आपण डिटेल्स मध्ये जाणार नाहीये, पण ब्रॉडर आउटरीच अँड ब्रॉडर व्ह्यू पॉइंट सगळे इथे मांडतील आणि तुमच्याकडून मार्गदर्शन मिळालं तर त्याचा आम्हाला खूप उपयोग होऊ शकेल. डॉक्टर साळुंखेंनी ऑलरेडी जे 4 एरियाज आहेत त्याच्यावरती ही इज ऑलरेडी हायलाइटेड की हे 4 एरियाज आहेत जिथे आमचा खूप मोठा कन्सर्न आहे. आणि प्रथम पहिला एरिया म्हणजे ऍडमिशन्सचा आहे. हा ऍडमिशन्स इन द ऑनलाईन स्पेस आणि आत्ताच्या सिच्युएशन मध्ये ऍडमिशन्स. दुसरा टीचिंग कसं होणार. तिसरा ऍक्रेडिटेशन, इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर आणि नवीन संस्था कशा येणार. असे हा 5 मुद्दे आम्ही आज घेऊन सगळे पॅनलिस्ट आज तुमच्याशी बोलणार आहेत. पण त्याच्या आधी आमच्या ज्या एम्सच्या प्रेसिडेंट आहे, नॅशनल प्रेसिडेंट सुजाता मंगराज जी आपल्या बरोबर आहेत, त्या भुवनेश्वरच्या आहेत. तर त्यांना मी विनंती करेन की त्या 3 ते 4 मिनिटात आमच्या संस्थेबद्दल थोडंसं तुम्हाला सांगते. सुजाता मंगराज मॅम. मॅडम प्लीज अनम्यूट करिए. Unmute your mic, madam.
Yeah. Is it okay? Madam, is it okay now? Thank you, Madam Apurva. A very good afternoon and a hearty welcome to the Honorable Union Minister of State for HRD, Communication, Electronics and Information Technology, Sri Sanjay Dhotre Sarji, the revered panelists and dear participants. You'll be happy to know that Association of Indian Management Schools, a 32 years old academic association, comprising a network of 850 business schools, including top-ranking institutions and departments of universities in the country as its members. Initially instituted at IIM Bangalore, it has many illustrious past presidents from reputed institutions of the country, such as AIIMS, ISB, XLRI, FMS, and the like. AIIMS has a pragmatic vision to uphold the interest of business education in the country and contributing towards quality improvement on a continuous basis through its determined collective effort. Its mission is to focus on quality by encouraging management research, facilitating in designing market-driven curriculum, help maintain and improve standards of teaching and learning, and enabling accreditation and quality assurance of its member institutions. One of the major activities of AIIMS is a policy advocacy role to sustain and enhance the quality of management education in all respects in the country. It is the official representative of Indian management schools in the board of national regulatory authorities in India, such as AICTE, as well as in various international forums on management education, such as ACBSP, AACSB USA, EFMD Europe, and the South Asian body AMDISA. AIIMS test for management admission ACMA has been conducted for the last 16 years to help management schools in their admission process. AIIMS flagship event is its annual management education convention on the contemporary issues of business management and education, where it recognizes achievement of its member institutions, their deans, directors, faculty members, and students. Sir, you will be happy to know that AIIMS is not at all a pressure group, rather a large academic conglomerate dedicated to the purpose of enhancing the quality of management education by integrating itself with the forums of industry and commerce in order to achieve its noble vision. It is indeed our great honor to have you with us, sir, in this important webinar on paradigm shift in education ecosystem 2020. Sir, AIIMS need your kind guidance and blessings in its journey for quality education in this crossroad of transition. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam, for giving that nice introduction about AIIMS. आणि त्यात महत्त्वाचा मुद्दा हा आहे की AIIMS is not a pressure group, but it is an academic body of institutions and the largest one across India. We'll go to the first point for discussion. आणि याच्यामध्ये 3 panelists आपल्याकडे आहेत. Dr. Sangvikar, Dr. D.Y. Patil and Dr. G.K. Shirude. आणि हे admissions विषयी आपल्याशी थोडंसं संवाद करतील. So I will request Dr. Sangvikar, who is currently the professor at Pune University Business Department and past president AIIMS, to enlighten and give his point of view on the admission and the CET. Sir, over to you. Sir, unmute your mic, sir, please.
Thank you, Apurva Madam. Honorable Minister, Shri Sanjay Ji Dhotre Sahib, President of AIIMS, Dr. Sujata Maganraj, key speakers of our today's session, Professor Uday Salunke and Professor Bhimraya Maitriji, and other panelists along with me. Sir, I am going to raise our issues related to admission process of MBA and PGDM programs. There are around 5 to 6 entrance examinations approved by government for admission to the MBA and PGDM programs. Now, most of the agencies, they have conducted, either they have conducted examination or in the process of conducting examination, or few of them have postponed this entrance examination. And because of this, many students are not able to appear for this entrance examination. And this will lead to great problems for the students as well as the management institutes for admitting these problems. Our submission to the Honorable Minister, sir, is that, sir, if you could give exemptions this year from the entrance examinations to the students, it will be very easier for the students as well as the management institutes to get admitted in their dream courses. And one more submission, if at all it is not possible to give exemption, we have a request that AIMS ATMA, which is also one of the approved tests by the government for the admission of these PGDM and MBA programs, with the help of AI Proctor, our association will be able to conduct entrance examinations with the help of these AI proctors, and students will be able to appear for this entrance from their respective residences. And this will be a greater help for students as well as management institutions. So we request you and give us provide this relaxation, which will be larger interest for the students and institutions as well. And thank you so much for giving us opportunity to express our views in front of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sangvikar sir. Minister sir, as you are aware, की आमच्या ज्या संस्था आहे यांचं national flavor आहे, and we get students from across India who come to locations like maybe Pune, Mumbai, Bhubaneswar, Delhi, सगळ्या संस्थांमध्ये all across India students go and study there. तर एक कळीचा मुद्दा जो असतो तो वेकन्सीजचा आहे. तर मी DY पाटील सर, जे डॉक्टर DY पाटील आहे, जे आत्मा टेस्ट चेअर पण करतात, आमचे पास्ट प्रेसिडेंट आहेत आणि GNI MSc डायरेक्टर आहेत, त्यांना या विषयावरती थोडंसं बोलण्यासाठी मी आमंत्रित करते. डॉक्टर DY पाटील.
Honorable Minister Sahib, and most of the panel members and my colleagues. ऍडमिशनच्या बाबतीत बरेच डायरेक्टर लोकांचं माझं बोलणं असं झालंय की भरतील का, सीट्स भरतील का, वेकन्सीज राहतील, मग त्या कशा भरायच्या. तर त्यातला एक मार्ग म्हणजे आपण जानेवारीमध्ये राहिलेल्या सीट जानेवारीमध्ये भरू शकतो का. माझ्या माहितीप्रमाणे कोर्टाच्या ह्याच्याप्रमाणे आपण भरू शकत नाही, पण जर तशी काही प्रोव्हिजन गव्हर्नमेंटनं केली तर ते एक उपाय आहे. दूसरा उपाय म्हणजे एक्सटेंड द लास्ट डेट ऑफ ऍडमिशन्स मे बी टिल एंड ऑफ सप्टेंबर और मे बी some days in the month of October. These are the two solutions that I foresee for filling up the seats. I think the AICT and the HRD ministry could look into it and help us. Thank you.
Thank you, DY Patil sir. त्याच्यात एवढीच एक विनंती होती की इन्स्टिट्यूट लेवल सीट्स भरण्याची परवानगी शेवटपर्यंत देण्यात आली तर त्याचा उपयोग होऊ शकेल आणि संस्थांना फायनान्शियल वायबिलिटी हा एक मेजर इश्यू असणार आहे यावर्षी बिकॉज ऑफ दी पॅन्डेमिक. I will now bring in the discussion Dr. G.K. Shirude sir. G.K. Shirude is the Vice Chancellor of Balaji University, which is in Pune, one of the leading business schools. Over to G.K. Shirude ji to speak on the aspects of fees, etc. For the admissions.
Thank you, Dr. Apurva. Honorable Minister, all the presidents, past presidents, my colleagues, and all leaders as far as the education sector is concerned. What my panelists, they have pointed out, they are on a very right track. Everybody is knowing that unprecedented situation has created number of problems. These problems are not only the digital platform, but the problems as far as the connectivity is concerned, as the offline, online is concerned. Now we always say in management and everywhere, and my appeal to Honorable Minister is that the difficulties are always opportunities. And all these difficulties, whenever we talk and convert in the form of opportunity, it is always said that this COVID-19 has given us an opportunity. We say that the management is a situational science. And since it is a situational science, we have to consider this particular situation not in the form of difficulties, but in the form of positive sense. And therefore, what I am saying, that is the COVID-19 has created a number of problems, particularly in education sector, and management education is not an exemption or the exception to this. And admission plays a lion's role or a very crucial role as far as the survival of all education institutions are concerned. And whenever I say that this survival is not in respect of only admission, but it is the all segments, including parents, including every sector, they depend and they rely as far as the education sector is concerned. Now, there are so many pressures which are coming to the universities, private universities, as well as the directors of the management institutes, that these students, they have to appear for their final examination. And final examination, that is the third year or this examination is yet to be conducted. Results will be declared. Some of the students may have a backlog, and all these situations as usual will be there. Now the question is, when they will have the admissions as far as these new programs are concerned, whether MBA, MMS, PGDM. And therefore the parents are requesting us now that since they are having, some of the students, they have cleared their set examination. Some of the students, they are waiting for the Atma examination and they are preparing for that. But before that, they are saying that take undertaking from us, give us a provisional admission and make us some type of the help as far as educational loan is concerned, because the majority of the students, they always take help from the banks. And as far as these educational loans are concerned, the banks also required some authentication, some certification or undertaking from the institutions or the university. And some of the parents, they are saying that, okay, some part of fees you can take so that we can proceed further as far as the obtaining the loan, educational loan is concerned. Considering all these particular situation, my humble request to our Honorable Minister that considering this flexibility, and even UGC and AICT yesterday, the Honorable Chairman, Sir Subudhe Saab, he also has explained that we all have to work together, find out some solution and see that our education as usual will have a quality and as far as the growth of the economy is concerned. म्हणून माझी धोत्रे साहेबांना अशी विनंती आहे मॅडम की ह्या सगळ्या बदलत्या परिस्थितीमध्ये, अडचणीच्या परिस्थितीमध्ये समस्या या आहेतच, पण समस्याची संधी निर्माण करणं आणि ही संधी म्हणजेच हे सोनं आहे असं समजून ही आपली ऍडमिशन प्रोसेस अधिक स्मूथ करणं आणि थोडी फ्लेक्झिबिलिटी जर त्याच्यात ठेवली तर सर्व समाजातल्या सर्व घटकांचा याच्यामध्ये काही ना काहीतरी फायदा होईल आणि ह्या विचित्र बदलत्या परिस्थितीमध्ये कुठेतरी समतोल साधला जाईल असं मला वाटतं आणि त्या दृष्टिकोनातून मंत्री महोदयांनी विचार करावा अशी माझी त्यांना सर्वांच्या वतीनं विनंती आहे. थँक्यू व्हेरी मच.
Thank you, Shri, for that insightful talk on the fees and the vacancies, etc. With this, Honorable Minister, sir, we conclude on the first part, which is the admission part. We'll go to the second part, and that second part is the teaching. The teaching is going to undergo a lot of change in next couple of months. आणि याच्यावरती भाष्य करण्यासाठी मी आमंत्रित करते डॉक्टर पराग कालकर, who is the Dean at Pune University for Management and Commerce Faculty, which is now known as Savitribai Phule Pune University. Over to you, Dr. Parag Kalkar.
Good afternoon, Apurva Madam. Honorable Union Minister of State for Human Resource Development, Communication and Electronics Information Technology, Dr. Sanjay Dhotre ji, President AIM, past President AIM, Executive Board members, AIMS, distinguished academicians across country. Sir, due to sudden lockdown, I think three things as major has been halted. First is pending academic coverage and examination process for all institutions, the remaining placement rounds, and the third and most important for all of us is the admission process. But during this lockdown, most of our B schools have adopted and trained their faculty members in using online platform during this period and kept their students actively engaged in the teaching learning process using digital platforms. Now it looks from the situation that we may have to continue the upcoming semester teaching learning process using online platform or using blended learning mode. Now we need support and concurrence from the government and ministry for allowing us this blended mode of teaching learning process until the students are allowed to join the classroom in the normal mode. Currently, UGC said that 20% can be online. Now we may have to use such platform up to 40-50% or more than that. But on behalf of all institutes, we'll ensure the quality of contents, enrichment of teaching learning process, and student engagement that we are already training our faculty members on the digital platform. So we should be officially allowed to use this platform as an official platform, replacing the normal mode of teaching learning process in the classroom. Thank you very much, sir.
Sir, we would like to assure you here that there will be a proper blended format of teaching. Also, there is certain concerns over the social distancing norms. So here, there is small kind of expectation if that can be really highlighted. And the local students are still, they will come to the class, but the class strength will have to be reduced to half. And from the AICTE perspective, if there can be some concessions which could be given to the institutes, where 50% could be on the online mode and 50% which will be the face-to-face mode. And for the long distance student, जे की दुरून institutes ना admissions घेतात, त्यांच्यासाठी first semester ला if there is a flexibility of an online format, but the institutes will ensure that they will not flaunt with any of the rules and regulations. Will ensure that next 3 semesters they will cover the whole face-to-face teaching. So the quality of the teaching will not be hampered. This was one kind of an appeal that we wanted to make. I would now like to bring in Dr. Sriram Nerlikar, who is the CEO of Deccan Education Society. Deccan Education Society runs a lot of institutions in Pune, like the Ferguson College, the BMCCs, etc. And he would like to highlight on the online assessment and use of EMRC. Over to you, Sriram.
Namaskar. Honorable Minister, sir, Honorable President Ames, and all other honorable panelists. I would like to quickly deliberate upon 2 important aspects which I feel are very relevant as far as the current pandemic situation is concerned. A few days ago, we heard our Honorable Prime Minister sharing his vision that it's a time to be vocal for local. And in alignment with this particular vision, education sector or educational institutions need to position themselves. The point which I want to make here quickly, in line with what Dr. Parag Kalkar sir said just now, the call for the online tutoring or online learning, digital learning has increased a lot. And so the students are resorting to such online lectures on a very large scale, not only in urban areas like Pune and Mumbai, but also in rural parts of India, throughout India. If that is the case, I think it is very essential to strengthen the network of EMRCs throughout this nation, throughout this country, so that more and more faculty members from the local areas, from the state universities, from different even small B towns, can actually share their knowledge through these platforms with the students, which will be in alignment with the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister. It would be localized. And the second point which I would quickly make is that since last several years, traditionally education sector has relied upon the pen and paper assessment. But in the current situation, it seems to be really challenging. And it again calls for a radical change. So I suggest that there should be a proper working group which can actually design various online assessment methods which will be very transparent, which will be accommodative and inclusive, and yet reliable as far as evaluation is concerned, because finally the quality of this evaluation decides the value of students in society as well as industry. So these are the 2 points which I would like to appeal on this platform. Thank you very much.
I want to quickly bring in Ajit Singh sir here from GNIMS, the Director General in Institute Khalsa Trust. There are a lot of questions in the minds of the institutes की संस्था कधी चालू होणार, universities कधी open होणार, phase manner मध्ये होणार. या विषयावरती I will now call upon Dr. Ajit Singh sir to quickly give his point of view.
Thank you, Purvaji. Honorable Minister Sahib, President ma'am, our keynote speaker and panelists. Sir, you are aware that during this pandemic, we all have become the function of invisible virus, COVID-19. And during this, the flexibility has become the law of time. And therefore, whatever is connected with the education has also becoming flexible. Now, whether it is admission or whether it is teaching learning process and whether it is the academic terms, these are the answers students are waiting for so that they can reshape and get ready for the new challenges. So my point is that we will have to plan the academic term and how can we phase the reopening and the structure the academic calendar and academic terms. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jit Singh sir. From here, we'll go to the next part of the discussion, which is affiliation and accreditation. I quickly begin Dr. Bharat Agrawal. Bharat Agrawal is the chairman of Vishwakarma University, which is one of the prestigious institutes, and it's very difficult to get an admission into his institution. Over to you, Bharatji, for your point.
Thank you, Palka ma'am. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Honorable Minister, sir, Sanjay Dhotre, sir, President of AIMS, Sujata Maharaj, ma'am, and fellow panelists, greetings to all of you all, good afternoon to all of you all. Minister, sir, in his opening remarks mentioned e-governance and how he has been vocal and he has been implementing e-governance practices at a national level. We learn from you, sir, and we have been following your steps in implementing similar e-governance and e-administration practices at our own institutes, colleges, and universities. Whilst doing this, we believe there are a lot of reforms that the regulatory bodies, primarily AICTE, UGC, and other central councils have brought forward. In fact, the AICTE approval process or the scrutiny committees are right now ongoing for various institutes and universities at a national level. They have been come out in a diluted format. I still further request, Honorable Sir, if you can show more trust towards the institutes, universities, and colleges, and do away with the approval process and grant extension of approvals or the affiliations to the existing institutes from the respective universities and the state governments for this year. It would be very, very helpful because it is difficult for many institutes, especially in red zones and containment areas, to even find documentation and publish and show it to the regulatory bodies right now. Second, sir, accreditation is something that is very, very inherent to us, very important to us because it governs our quality. But we understand accreditation requires two things: the input resources, but more importantly, the output performance. And the output performance of institutes is governed not only by the institute, but also by the entire ecosystem that the institute operates in. As the ecosystem is in some sort of a there might be challenges with institutes to meet tightly the accreditation requirements of NAT and NBA. I request Minister Sir to please continue the accreditations of the institutes or maintain status quo of the accreditations, whichever are expiring in this current 6 months to 1 year's time to another couple of years. And also one request not to link accreditations to approvals for some time. AICTE has some mandates which links that if you are not accredited, your approvals will be challenged by AICTE. So I request you to just delink both these things and give us some breather. I'm sure all the institutes would stand up once again after some dilution of this disease happens, and we will rise up to the requirements of AICTE and other regulatory bodies when it comes to quality norms. Thank you so much, AIMS, for giving me this chance to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Bharat, for this precise point of view. From here now we get to the next part, आणि जो खूप महत्त्वाचा असणार आहे, and that is going to be the infrastructure. digital infrastructure which is available with the students, with teachers, with faculty members. On this, I will now try and invite Dr. Sanjay Chodia sir to speak on the digital infrastructure and his point of view on how the institutes could become more socially relevant and understand the issues and challenges of the kids coming from the pandemic affected or COVID-19 affected families. Over to you, Sanjay ji.
Yeah. Thank you, Honorable Minister, all the AM members, all the panelists, and all the viewers. Sir, my point of view is for all the strata of the society who are staying in metro cities, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities. Basically, for digital education, everybody needs a very strong infrastructure. So for this purpose, what is our suggestion on behalf of all the educationalists? That some kind of concession should be given, maybe in the form of providing maybe tab or concession in the laptop or some good range, good internet connectivity to all the needy and deserving strata of the society, particularly who are staying in tier 2, tier 3 cities, who in spite of having a rigorous interest in attending the classes through various Zoom or Google platforms, but are unable to attend. So if this kind of situation continues for say another 6 months and we commence our next academic year, so it is a burning need, particularly for the students who are visiting and taking education in the cities at present where they are marked as the red zone, particularly Pune and Mumbai, if you are talking about the Maharashtra. So Maharashtra is a major hub of education. So this facility should be provided. Secondly, sir, my suggestion is for all the COVID warriors, parents, children, those who are contributing in a great way, they're fighting for the nation, for survival of each one of us. So some kind of scholarship should be given in terms of their higher education. Rather, many students and employees also could not pursue their higher education, particularly postgraduate education, irrespective of their financial background or any other related issues. So if some kind of a consideration is given to the people who are working and maybe they have lost their job, and some students who wants to pursue their higher education from Pune, from leading institution across Maharashtra or maybe from across country, but are not in a financial position to complete their education, some students should be given scholarship in line with the students of the category students what they get, SC, ST category, NT category. So if 50% to 100% scholarships, depending upon the income level, if we can give, so really the students who wants to pursue higher education, their number will increase. As a result of this, many institutions' problem at present, it is not a problem of this year only, sir. I feel this kind of uncertainties are going to come in near future also. Nobody can predict this today. So it is better that our students are equipped, our students are given facilities, and percentage of students pursuing higher education also will increase. And third, and the most important, is the facility for the education institutes also. Because many institutions have taken loan and running their institutions. Their economical viability is at stake. So maybe if we can consider a higher bandwidth facility is offered through maybe BSNL or other internet players at a much subsidized rate or maybe free of cost for 1 year, so that they can also give better delivery and student can also access. And as a result of this, the parents and the students, they will feel comfortable sitting at home. They can access the lectures very comfortably. The faculty members also will get trained. And the fourth point is from the corporate point of view. So corporates this year, we know corporates are also facing problem. Corporates here, I mean industries, manufacturing industries, service sectors. So many corporates are not in a position to pay their salaries at least for next 2, 3, 4 months. Their production is also not geared up. So they also need a talented manpower in this today's era, today's situation. So if students are given some virtual internship projects or industry participation, so that they can also fulfill their need, student will get practical exposure and their confidence level will enhance. So when they become ready for the job after 1.5 years, 2 years time, they will have better opportunities to work in industry. Physically, it may not be possible for them to go to industry. So some kind of rules and regulations, if we can impose on corporates also, for encouraging students to pursue an internship on a regular basis, not only during the summer. Even while the academics is going on, they should be allowed to do internship sitting in the college or sitting in hostel or at their home. if this kind of facility is given, I think really the purpose will be served and it will be mutually beneficial to both students as well as for the industry. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, sir, for giving and sparing your valuable time to all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Chodia. With this, we come towards the last leg of our discussion, and that's a very important area where there's a concerns on new institutions opening up, or new deemed universities coming up across India, which is in the purview of the HRD ministry. So I'll invite Dr. Milind Pandey, who's the Pro-Vice Chancellor of MIT World Peace University, to give his point of view. Milind.
Thank you, madam. All dignitaries present on this online webinar. Very good afternoon, Honorable Minister Sanjay ji. Khub namaskar. We were discussing about the various points. How should be the new universities, the post-corona pandemic? How will be the future of education and education of the future? While discussing this, we have a need of implementation of value-based universal education system across all the universities. Why this value-based? Because the parents are confused, the students are confused, society are confused. We have a strong foundation. We want all our students to be professionally sound, socially responsible, and spiritually aware. So that the Prime Minister very categorically said about the Atmanirbhar Bharat. आत्मनिर्भर भारत की ओर जो शिक्षण प्रणाली लेके जाने वाली है, where our education should develop the students with the innovation in head, compassion in heart, and passion in belly. So, Honorable Minister, we need to take certain important steps so that we can lead to the better society to live. So, this value-based education, when we said, for the now or Atmanirbhar Bharat ki Shikshan Pranali, we need to incorporate the yoga, meditation, prayers that should be the compulsory in all the curriculums in all the universities. Not only that, what Dr. Chodia sir said, the rural immersion for all the students, the national immersion, the online internships, these are also the very, very important part. I remember last year, we came out with the concept of institution of excellence, the university with the difference, the world-class university, lot of proposals came. But now in this post-pandemic area, the dimensions is getting changed. It is react to react. That should be the philosophy. And Peter Drucker very categorically said the best way to predict the future is to create it. Honorable Minister, we need your support. And since I'm the last one into it, and what the Prime Minister has said, the Atmanirbhar Bharat, I would like to put few lines on this to respond to the Atmanirbhar Bharat and our management education, how that management education should look like. किसी कवि ने बहुत अच्छे से कहा है कि मुश्किलों में धैर्य साहस यही जीने की कला है, शिखर तक पहुंचा वही जो आखिरी दम तक चला है। हो अगर हिम्मत हृदय में गर्व से उन्नत हो मस्तक, आत्मनिर्भरता के प्रण से बने भारत युग प्रवर्तक, गर्व में संभावना के कहीं दृढ़ निश्चय पला है, शिखर तक पहुंचा वही जो आखिरी दम तक चला है। थैंक यू सर।
Thank you, Milinji. Now I'll make a sincere request to Honorable Minister Sir to give his address on all the issues that have been raised and concerns in the post-pandemic era that everyone is likely to face. Over to you, Honorable Minister Sir.
Dignitaries present, Dr. Mangaraj, Dr. Apurva Palkar, Dr. Ganesh Rao, Dr. Somnath Patil, Dr. Uday Salunke, Dr. Mitriji, Dr. Shirude, Dr. D.Y. Patil, Dr. Sangvikar, Dr. Bharat Agrawal, Dr. Parag Kalkar, Dr. Ajit Singh Ji, Dr. Shriram Nedlekar, Dr. Sanjay Chordia, Dr. Milinji Pandey, Amol Gande, and all other dignitaries present. There are very good suggestions from all the panelists, particularly Udayji Salunke, Group Director. Now, I think we'll start from admission. Admission is, I think, the most important part of every school, college, educational institution, because transparent, robust admission structure is most important, because true teacher always learns from student. If the students from all sphere of life and most eligible student, if they are admitted, then I think that institute will automatically flourish. Though online education takes center stage, it is only aiding conventional education. Online education, you can say it is aid, tool, or instrument. It boosts or increase the effectiveness of teaching, but role of teacher cannot be eliminated, because there is human touch which have no alternative. So during this extraordinary or crisis period, as you suggest, 20% or 40%, 50%, we can substitute our traditional teaching for online teaching. Dr. Bhimrao Mitriji also give many suggestions. Paradigm shift in education, increased role of advanced digital teaching, increased role of artificial intelligence, virtual reality, mixed reality, business competency development in business education, change in mindset of faculty and education, reforms in business education, 3R, that is respond to crisis, reimagine workplace of tomorrow, reform, revise curriculum. Apurva Palkar, Director in Innovation, also give many suggestions. So regarding admission, Sangvikarji suggested there are 5 to 6 entrance exam with consultation with Mr. Sahasrabuddheji. We will definitely look after some practical approach. Dr. D.Y. Patil spoke regarding vacancies. This is very important issue, not only in management, but also in engineering, agriculture, all other institutes, and definitely we'll seriously think about it, and in consultation with all the available mechanism, definitely we'll find some solution. Dr. Shirode, Dr. Kalkar, they also give very valuable suggestion. And finally, Mr. Milind Pandey, all are thinking about this value-based education. I think it was already there, but somehow it has been diluted. It is not only part of higher education, but I think we should introduce it from preschool, school education. Then only it will be effective. I think we all are trusted partner, and we should always work as a trusted partner. शेवटी मला असं वाटतं की आपण सर्वांनी अतिशय चांगले सजेशन दिले. तुम्ही नुसतं प्रश्नच नाही सांगितले, कारण की हे सगळं चालवण्याकरता मिनिस्ट्रीज which I am holding is communication, electronics, information technology, HRD. This online education, there should be some effective mechanism, that is connectivity. Connectivity is basic thing. Then internet, then quality of internet, that is speed, availability, everything is there. ते कसं चांगल्यात चांगलं करता येईल त्याचे आपल्याला विचार करावा लागेल. संजयजी चोरडे यांनी जे सांगितलं की प्रत्येक ठिकाणी हे अवेलेबल नाही, विशेषतः आमचे जे गरीब विद्यार्थी आहेत किंवा अनुसूचित जाती जमातीचे विद्यार्थी आहेत, आदिवासी विद्यार्थी आहेत, त्यांना हे कसे उपलब्ध करून देता येतील त्यासाठी आपल्या संस्था आणि शासन हे दोघं मिळून निश्चितच आपण याच्यावरती तोडगा काढू. शेवटी आपल्याला सगळ्यांना एक विश्वासू भागीदार म्हणून आपल्याला काम करायचं आहे. कारण की बदलत्या परिस्थितीत सगळ्याच गोष्टी बदललेल्या आहेत. तुमच्या ऍडमिशन पासून तर शिकवण्याची पद्धती, जे उपलब्ध इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर आहे, कारण की सोशल डिस्टन्सिंग मेंटेन करायचं तर आपल्याला त्यावरही तोडगे काढावे लागतील. की जसं काही मुलं त्यांचं ऑनलाईन टीचिंग सुरू राहील, काही विद्यार्थ्यांचे प्रॅक्टिकल्स राहतील, काही विद्यार्थी इंडस्ट्रीज मध्ये ट्रेनिंगसाठी जातील. आपल्याला एक शिफ्ट असेल तर 2 शिफ्ट कराव्या लागतील. आपले शिकवण्याचे जे तास आहेत ते वाढवावे लागतील. अर्थात त्याचा ताण सगळ्यात जास्त आपले जे फॅकल्टी आहे त्यांच्यावर पडणार आहे, पण थोडंसं काही दिवसासाठी तरी आपल्याला हे करावं लागणार आहे. आणि आपले अकॅडमिक कॅलेंडर जे आहे, certainly we have to reschedule our academic calendar. Anybody don't know when our situation will be normal or how long this situation lasts. Nobody knows about it. आपण फक्त सध्या अंदाज बांधून राहिलो आणि त्यानुसार आपण पुढच्या गोष्टी ठरवून राहिलो. परंतु त्यामध्ये आपल्याला फ्लेक्झिबिलिटी ठेवावी लागणार आहे. कदाचित आपलं सेशन लवकर नॉर्मल झाली परिस्थिती तर एखादा महिना शॉर्ट होईल. जास्तच वाईट परिस्थिती आली, खूप वेळ चाललं तर 3-4 महिने कदाचित शॉर्ट होऊ शकते. म्हणून तुम्ही जसं सजेस्ट केलं की जे आपले फर्स्ट सेमेस्टर, थर्ड सेमेस्टर, फिफ्थ ऑड सेमेस्टर जे असतात त्यासाठी थोडी वेगळी परिस्थिती राहील. कदाचित जे इव्हन सेमेस्टर आहेत त्यामध्ये नॉर्मल सिच्युएशन मध्ये आपण काम करू. तसं बदलत्या परिस्थितीनुसार आपल्याला काम करावं लागणार आहे. आपण सगळेजण चांगल्यात चांगलं होईल असा विचार करत आहोत, परंतु आपली तयारी वाईटात वाईट परिस्थिती होईल याच्यासाठी सुद्धा आपली तयारी असली पाहिजे. We should always imagine better, but we should best prepare for worst. आपण सर्वांनी अतिशय चांगले सजेशन यामध्ये दिले आणि मला असं वाटतं की ही आपली पहिल्यांदाच आपली चर्चा होत आहे आणि ही एक चांगली सुरुवात असावी. आणि पोस्ट कोविड किंवा ही सिच्युएशन नॉर्मल झाल्यानंतर सुद्धा आपण सतत भेटत राहू, कारण की आता एक फेज आहे आपला, अचानक उद्भवलेली परिस्थिती आहे. मला असं वाटतं की अनेकांनी म्हटलं की या संकटातून काही संधी निर्माण होतील, कारण की मनुष्य स्वभावच असा आहे की त्याला काही समस्या निर्माण झाल्याशिवाय तो अनेक कामं करत नाही. When there is a problem, then only we think about it. When your stomach upset, you think about stomach. When you are headache, then you think about your head. Like that. की ज्यांना आपल्याला ज्याचा त्रास झाला त्याच्याबद्दल आपण विचार करतो, म्हणून अनेक चांगल्या गोष्टी सुद्धा त्यातून निश्चितपणे निर्माण होतील. नाही तर जसं सुरू आहे तसं जो माणूस शेवटी हा सवयीचा गुलाम आहे. जे तो करते ते चांगलं असो की वाईट असो त्याला ते योग्य वाटते, परंतु जेव्हा संकट येतात तेव्हाच आपण खळबळून जागा होतो आणि त्यातून अनेक चांगल्या गोष्टी निर्माण होतात. तर ह्या संधीचं आपण निश्चितपणे सोन्यात रूपांतर करू आणि त्याकरता आपण सर्वजण मिळून आपण काम करू. प्रत्येकानं अतिशय चांगल्या अशा सूचना केल्या. मला त्या सगळ्यांचा उल्लेख करता आला नाही, कारण की वेळेच्या अभावी ते सगळं शक्य झालं नाही. आपण सर्वजण यात सहभागी झाले, चांगली चर्चा आपण केली, त्याबद्दल मी आपल्याला सर्वांना धन्यवाद देतो, सर्वांना शुभेच्छा देतो. विथ थँकिंग ऑल ऑफ यू अँड विथ ऑल दी बेस्ट टू ऑल ऑफ यू. आय टेक युअर लीव. जय हिंद, जय भारत, नमस्कार.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sanjay ji, for those valuable insights आणि आश्वासन जे तुम्ही दिले आहे. आणि आम्ही तुम्हाला एक एवढं सांगू इच्छितो की आज तुम्ही जे सांगितलं, आम्ही जे बोललो याच्यावरती आम्ही व्हाईट पेपर तयार करून अमोल गावंडेंच्या थ्रू वी विल ट्राय अँड सेंड इट अक्रॉस टू यू, सो दॅट आपला डायलॉग जो आहे हा निश्चितपणे आपण पुढे नेऊ शकू. अनेक प्रश्न आहेत, पण तुम्हाला जे अश्युरन्स दिला आहे ते ऐकून आम्हाला खूप म्हणजे वी बीन रिअली सॅटिस्फाईड अँड वी बीन रिअली हॅपी अँड कम्फर्टेड. आय मस्ट से कम्फर्टेड इज द ओनली वर्ड दॅट आय हॅव फॉर वॉट एव्हर यू हॅव डन. Just quickly in a minute, if I can invite Amol to just thank you, sir, for a minute.
Yes, thank you so much, Apurva ma'am. I feel really very proud and privileged to have gotten a chance to propose vote of thanks on today's occasion. The topic of today's webinar is very apt and extremely relevant during this testing time and the future to come, and who can be better to talk on it other than our chief guest, today's Honorable Minister Shri Sanjay Dhotre. Sir is an authority related to this topic and is among the people who are at the helm of affairs. As a result, he was extremely busy and pressed for time. Still, he was very considerate to spare time for addressing us all today. On behalf of AIMS, promoters of various institutes and universities, vice chancellors and pro-vice chancellors of various universities, directors, deans of various institutes, and other stakeholders attending this webinar today, I express our deep sense of gratitude towards Honorable Minister Shri Sanjay Ji Dhotre. I express our sincere thanks to all the panelists today, including our beloved Dr. Somnath Patil sir, Dr. Sanjay Chordia, Dr. Bharat Agrawal, Dr. Shriram Nerlekar, Dr. Sujata Mangaraj, Dr. Ajit Singh, Dr. D.Y. Patil, Dr. G.K. Shirode sir, Dr. Parag Kalkar sir, Dr. Milind Pandey sir, and Dr. Sangvikar sir for driving the discussion during today's webinar in more fruitful and appropriate manner. I would like to express special thanks to Dr. Apurva Parkar for moderating the panel discussion so well. A special thanks to must be mentioned about our keynote speakers today, Dr. Uday Salonke sir and Dr. Bhimraya Maitri sir, for setting the context for today's discussion so well. How can I forget Dr. Ganesh Rao for guiding us? In the end, I would like to thank all of the participants of today's webinar, AIMS Pune chapter, all others who have been involved representing AIMS into this webinar at various stages for making this webinar a grand success. It would not be out of place to reiterate our sincere thanks from the bottom of our heart towards today's chief guest, Honorable Minister Shri Sanjay Dhotre sir, before I finally declare that today's webinar ends here. Thank you so much. Dhanyavad.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Sanjay ji. Thank you.
Thank you very much all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, sir. Thank you so much.
Sanjay
Thank you, sir.
and all. Divai, Ajit Singh,